Your task this time was to take a look at the given code and determine what would be logged out to the console when we run the log text function down here, and when we log out the text variable down here. So the first thing we see is a variable called text with its value set to foo. We also have a function called logText that console logs our text variable. Then we are redeclaring our text value to be set to bar here. And finally, we are calling the logText function down here and logging out the text variable below it. Let's run the code. When we run the code, we see that we get undefined logged out when we call our logText function down here. And we get foo logged out when we log the text variable down here. So why does this happen? Why do we get undefined logged out instead of foo? This is because of the phenomena called hoisting in JavaScript. In the first video of this course, we went over hoisting and talked about how function declarations get hoisted or moved to the top of its current scope that it was declared in. One thing to note is that not only do function declarations get hoisted, but so do variables. In this case on line 5, when we declare variable text, the declaration gets hoisted or moved to the top of the scope of this function. So under the hood, what is really happening is this. We are declaring a variable called text up here on top of this scope. And then we are just setting the text variable down here to bar. This is why at this point, when we log out the text variable here, we get undefined logged out. Because we're basically declaring the text variable up here and not assigning it to any value yet. Let's run the code again to verify. Great, we get the same thing logged out. So this is what's happening under the hood. Now let's understand why are we getting foo logged out when we log out the text variable down here. You may think, why are we getting foo logged out instead of bar? Didn't we just reassign the value of text to bar in this function? This is because of functional scope in JavaScript. In JavaScript, each function creates a new scope. This means that any variables declared inside the function cannot be accessed outside of the function. Therefore, when we log out text here, we are getting foo instead, since we already have a text variable declared and set to foo in the global scope outside of this function. Many interviewers like to ask these types of questions involving hoisting and functional scopes in JavaScript. So keep an eye out for questions that look similar to this one. Great. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next video.